All right. Okay, it looks like we're recording. Okay, great. Would anybody care to recap where we last left off? What was happening?
I could.
Please do.
So we captured 8 members of the Colkeen camp, the word giver, the assistant, the 3 word keepers, and the 3 workers. We then suited up in the spoils that we got, leaving some of it there to be divided with the village and amongst ourselves at a later time. But haste was of the essence, and we went out with Jospender and Upajai on a great goat chase. The goat chase was harder for some than others. Paiviki had a tough time with the goat. And we went through an elf village of Arendale, and Murin met an acquaintance, and they talked for a little bit, and then we kept on going through. We met a couple of hazards and obstacles. I have here a note about the word promontory, which I was really fascinated that you used several times. So now I know it. And we, Miniarvi is the village that we came across that was like in the swamp, and they were taking care of Palvinder, who had escaped from the 2 word keepers when they were attacked by slime devils. And one of the word keepers was killed in the process. So now we're pursuing 1 word keeper and 2 prisoners. We evaded the section of the trail where the slime devils were making some shenanigans, and we passed by some giant footprints, and we're just making haste, going as fast as we could to Sakagara, in the direction of Sakagara, hoping to intercept them before they got to the city. I think the last thing we did is we evaded a stampede of herding animals. And Paiviki rolled like the roll of the night, and was able to get over I think like a river or something, like a stream. Like, they was able to jump across and to go.
Yeah, to get away by using intelligence.
Right.
To recall how these goats were, what gestures and words and sounds were best used to goad these goats along. Yeah, and then you came into sight of the town of Sakagara, which to your peasant eyes is an almost inconceivable sight. That there would be this almost a small mountain completely covered with human habitation. I mean, I think at first it may be even hard for you to sort of reconcile that with your experience. So it's quite a sight. I mean, it's possible that Muirin may have seen. I don't know, Donna. What do you think? Has Muirin been around enough to have seen places this big, or is Muirin also a little bit of a backwoods?
Yeah, I do think Morin has seen something like, yeah.
Okay, so Muirin's not so surprised, but our 2 Rayunan villagers are struck by the size and kind of density of this thing. And you're on the Sundown Road approaching, and I believe it is quite late in the day. It's evening. And on either side of the Sundown Road, as you approach, from your perspective, there are these expansive farmland off to the left and right. You see orchards and fields with people working in them. This time of year, lots of planting is happening, so there's lots of kind of rich dirt furrows and people with sort of scattering seeds. And there are a couple of what look like almost estates attached to those farms, like little walled courtyards and farmhouses, and not a lot of people on the road itself, but the few people that you do pass definitely stop and stare, because the sight of 5 people on goats is highly unusual, and in particular the Venati with their colorful garb definitely stand out in relatively subdued surroundings. as you approach, so you're approaching from the west here, and I just wanted to make sure that I guess there's probably some consultation with Upajai and Jaspinder about what kind of approach you're going to take. Like, are you guys going to sort of? You talked before about maybe not wanting to wear the Word Keeper armor, or like covering it up somehow. So I guess maybe we should start with a conversation about if you're making any strategic plans or decisions as you approach the town.
I mean, I want to have this on if we're going to fight this one guy, but I mean, Jason, are we literally on the map now?
You're just off the edge of the map. Yeah, you're pretty much.
I mean, it's seeming really unlikely we caught up to them. He or she is probably in the city walls. And if
so before you go any further, because this might affect your plans, I'm going to say Upajai, who's been ahead the whole time, has gone far enough ahead. At a certain point, turns around and rides back to you all and says, "I see him."
Oh, let's go.
So I tracked how fast you guys were traveling and what was happening to them at the same time. And given all the setbacks you had and whatnot, this is where you caught up to him and his prisoners. So before you go charging in, Upajai says that there's a through Jaspinder, because Upajai does not speak your language. There's a roadblock up ahead, and she saw there's 3 word keepers manning the roadblock, and then one word keeper on who has sort of facing them, having sort of just reached the roadblock, and that word keeper had 2 Venati in tow. 2 Venati who were tied together by the wrists.
We're fucked.
So can't be anybody other than the guy you guys are looking for. So that is what Upajai reports.
Does that mean we're like probably outnumbered, or?
It would be 4 word keepers at that particular spot. Yeah, that doesn't technically outnumber you, but they've got. I mean, you guys are wearing the armor now, and I think you have 2 of the crossbows, or do you all have crossbows?
We have
I think we have 2 crossbows.
2 crossbows, yeah. So, you could, maybe the element of surprise is there. I don't know. But this is the problem you're faced with. What's the next move?
Taimi thinks that we should ride in fast and hard, hit them, and try to escape with the prisoners.
You do have a 6th goat, the one that has all the provisions on it. So if that goat could be unburdened, you could actually get 2 people on that goat.
Yeah.
Yeah, no matter what we do at this point, it seems like they're going to know that the prisoners were captured and brought back to Saltwall.
Yeah.
Even if we managed to escape everybody and killed or captured all 4 of those word keepers, all the folks that saw us coming down the road would know we came down the road on goats.
Yeah.
Riding down the road on goats.
Yeah.
Little people.
A thought that I had would be that if this word keeper was stationed in Saltwall, after he's done this prisoner transfer, he would go back. And then we could catch him on the road and 86 him. The downside, I think the upside there is that we would still, I think the gap between when they would know something is aloof and when they would track it back to the Venati would be longer, but we would lose the prisoners. That's what John Shadurchin says. Taimi thinks that we should just ride in hard and like do damage, grab them and run. She's not able to like think about like the chess match about them finding out it's us.
What was the Taimi's conscience, John Chad saying? I couldn't quite follow it.
Oh, an amorphous John Chad head non-connected to Taimi was saying that like I really feel as if these prisoners are pretty much lost. Like we're at a trolley problem dilemma here, where if we like save these two villagers, we're going to be alerting the Colkeen that like something aloof, something effed up is going on with the Venati and everything. Whereas if we just kind of like cut our losses, I feel terrible saying that, with the two prisoners, and we kind of wait for the next word keepers to head back towards Saltwall, then we can just 86 them, and then I think that would be more beneficial to more Venati.
I see. So you're saying that it would keep attention on Saltwall would be kept off if you took that course.
Yes. Whereas if we get them now, I think you're right. I think like there's a chance that we could kill them all, but like there's too many loose ends. There's like 5 mysterious people running in on goats, a very loud battle with word keepers. The abduction of prisoners. There will be rumors and stuff.
What if we slip into Sakagara and get the prisoners tonight?
Through just by not abduction, but something like that, like sneaking them.
Yeah.
So you help them get away and nobody knows where they went, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that the fingers would not necessarily point at Saltwall. It would just be missing prisoners.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, they would potentially know, or guess that the prisoners would head back to Saltwall. But at this point, the word keeper has already shown up with a couple of Venati. So now those 3 word keepers that they met already know about them.
Yeah, and they know that. And they know that there was trouble. Go ahead, Donna.
Yeah. Well, I feel like Weirin likes the sneaky idea of taking them while they are there in the city and not quite by force.
Upajai says, they're moving. So you could have had some of this conversation obviously on the way, but you're also having it right here on the path.
Yeah.
So Upajai says they are moving. All right, so the roadblock is here, and they are moving along this road. And then, in the distance, when you guys look, you can see these figures starting to move off in that direction. So you can keep having your conversation. I just want you to let you know, like, time has not frozen.
Okay.
I would say let's. What can we follow them through the estate?
I think you can follow them through the estate.
I mean, cut through the fields.
Oh,
I see what you're saying. Like this way.
Yeah. Well, go through in a way that they won't see us.
Like that way.
Yeah.
And what about the people who live at the estate? You can say that.
Yeah, there's them. There's them.
Whoops. I mean, you could just go and see what happens, right? Who knows what's going to happen?
Right.
But it would just be sort of loud, right? If we were on goats going through like their farm.
The goats can move pretty quietly. The really question was being seen. you would stand out. So if there's depending on who's working there, and it's a quick glance across that way makes you think it could kind of be feasible that we could move along at least along the edge of that farmland, and maybe be less conspicuous. And maybe people there, who knows how they would react to that? Who knows? You could also leave the goats and go on foot. There's a number of different ways you could tackle it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that leaving our 2 Venati guides with the goats on the outskirts of town is going to allow us, I mean, we still might get stares for being outsiders, but I think it's going to allow us to move more easily. But again, I would say, if a rescue or breaking them from their and from being captured is something that you're interested in, we need to know where they go. And I think that you, Paiviki, have the greatest likelihood of being able to figure that out.
Finding out where they go.
Yeah, tailing them, losing the word keeper armor, we'll keep it with us. And Weirin and I will keep a distant eye on you while you keep a distant eye on them and figure out where they take them.
Oh, we just need to not lose track of them right now. So
yes,
if they're not heading straight into town, they might be going to some other village or maybe to the river. So we need to get there before they head somewhere else. So I think the first order is to cut them off, or at least see where they're headed. If there's a roadblock right up ahead, we need to either try to sneak through it or talk our way through it, or we need to try to avoid it altogether by cutting through that farm. Yeah, catching up with these folks seems so much easier before they got to a town.
So it sounds like if basic choices are leave Venati with goats, go on foot quickly, perhaps with Paiviki in the lead. John, you were saying because Paiviki has a chance of blending in the most. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, we have to move. we have to get there, and I think we can't go there. We can't go into the city with wordkeeper armor. That's not going to fly. So we need to quickly get that off and go quickly on foot.
Okay, and then the other choice would be to go with the goats to get closer. But is anybody interested in that, or is it just going on foot seem the smartest thing?
I think that's smart, because then you can be less conspicuous.
Does Paiviki want to stay on this goat?
Oh, we're just losing all of our advantages of
right.
of being mounted and having armor and weapons and all those things if we get on foot right now.
Well, don't take the armor off.
Yeah, is there any way, you don't have a cloak, right?
I mean, I brought what was an outfit of
oh, right.
that the word giver had.
Feel free to, so when I picture an outfit, I don't picture a cloak being involved, but if you wanted to take a chance and get lucky, there could be a cloak included in that outfit.
What about the other two?
I have a cloak. I assume that could cover the armor, but if only one of us has a cloak, I could certainly give it up.
I don't have a cloak.
Okay, so you've got one between you. Let us underline the importance of cloaks at this juncture. Jan, do you want to see if a cloak was included in the outfit, or would you rather?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's try that.
Okay.
See if I can get lucky. I did not get lucky.
What did you roll?
A 4.
Okay.
which is a 4 minus, no, 4, just a 4.
Yeah, the judge will say how your hopes are dashed. So you look through your pack and sort of pull out that outfit, and you in the course of your various misadventures, the outfit is seriously stained with river mud. So the disappointing thing is this beautiful corking outfit that you had packed away once, you finally unpack it after not looking at it in a day or two, and it's not ruined, but it's going to take some serious cleaning up before you can actually wear it and have it look nice again.
Okay. Not only no cloak. Okay.
So the question is, does Paiviki want to unburden herself of the chainmail or keep it on?
Or you could take my cloak if you want to feel safer if you go ahead.
But you're wearing chainmail too, right?
No, actually, I did not put on chainmail because I wanted to be quiet.
Oh, that's
Okay.
right, because it's too clinky. And did you bring any, Weirin, or did you not bring any at all?
I don't think I brought any.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to clarify. Okay, so we have two chainmail shirts or tunics, basically, on Taimi and Paiviki. Yeah.
Hmm.
And Paiviki has to make a tough decision.
Well, the other thing we could try to do is I could try to pass off as a word keeper, and we could walk up through the roadblock.
As your prisoners?
Yeah, you could be my prisoners, or I could go alone.
The Chewbacca gambit.
Yeah, the Chewbacca gambit.
Okay, so at this point, you're gonna lose them unless, or you could just lose them and try to find them later. That's totally feasible. But unless somebody acts to pursue, you're gonna lose track of your quarry. I think Paiviki's bold, right?
I indeed. Depends on what kind of bold.
And bold could mean anything in this situation, right? It could mean you charge off after them, or you put on your word keeper helmet and approach the roadblock, or who knows?
Yeah. I'm kind of going word keeper. What do you guys say?
I like that idea too, just because of your charisma and your bravery. The arrogance.
Arrogant bravery.
Yeah, you can pretend to be a word keeper. Taimi's not going to pretend to be a prisoner.
Ooh. Or Taimi's gonna sneak around.
I'll happily stalk them or sneak through farms, but I'm not gonna. That's too much. It's a bridge too far.
Okay.
I think maybe at this point we should just ride and see what we can get away with on goatback, because I don't know if splitting up really benefits us. So
keep the whole crew together and do the move through the estate? Is that what you're saying? On goats?
Yeah. What do you guys think?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right.
Moirin?
Yep. Sure.
Okay. I think we just want to cut far enough to the north or whatever that is, so that we would be not very visible to the roadblock.
Yeah, that is the north, in fact. Okay. All right, so you're trying to do this without being seen, without drawing undue attention to yourselves. And I think to move up and through this farmland, there's 6 goats, 5 people. I think it's just really a question of luck in terms of whether anybody sees you or not, because it's not like you can be super stealthy. It's just like looking for, keeping your eyes open and hoping there aren't a whole lot of people around, right? Or do you even care about that? Are you just going to charge across the estate and, not worry?
Yeah, the main people I would be worried about is the word keepers that are at that juncture.
So the goal here is to avoid being seen from the people at the roadblock. Okay. And will you be going actually into the farmland and crossing like on the far side of that near wall, or I guess that's the best way to avoid being seen, right? As opposed to right, because if you went this way, it would be very easy for the keepers to see you. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you make that call, and Jaspender and Upajai sort of look at each other, and then Upajai kind of shrugs and smiles and takes a swig from her honey mead. And they now you are the leader. Now the Venati are no longer leaders. You're leading the way across these open fields and into this freshly turned field. And then you turn east, and always keeping an eye on that roadblock in the distance. Approach this farm compound that looks like it's made out of looks like sort of straw plaster walls, thatched roofs. One of the roofs has like red tile on it, which is an unusual sight for you. In the distance to the north, you do see like 4 workers kind of bent over in the fields, and none of them are looking your way. And you reach the compound wall, and there's actually like a gate, a wooden gate that opens into the main compound. And you don't see anybody around right now. So you could actually go right through the middle of the compound if somebody opens that gate, or you could go around the outside of it. This way. So you reach that gate. So far, so good.
I would imagine going around the compound. It doesn't look like it adds that much mileage or kilometerage to our trek.
Okay. So I'm going to have the person with the lowest luck roll luck. And according to where's my sheet? Who's got the lowest luck?
11.
Mine is 9.
Tahimi's got like, what do you got? 17? Oh my God.
4.
She's got 17 luck, Tahimi, right? Have
Yeah,
you spent any luck at all?
I've got tons of luck. Tons and tons of luck.
Okay, amazing. So it sounds like Mirren with, how much do you have? 9?
Yeah, darn. Okay.
Yeah. So that's still a 0 modifier, so it's not like a major problem. But this is just to see whether you're going to catch the attention of people who are working out there, and whether they might, they're not going to be able to do anything about it because none of them are close enough to you unless you roll really badly. But they might remember you later in case that becomes important. So go ahead and roll luck.
Great. Oh no. 9.
Okay. On a 9, you do it, but there's a trade-off. Okay. There's a loud barking. And when you get to the far corner of the compound, a kind of black-haired mastiff. Well, not a mastiff. It's not like a huge dog. Medium-sized dog starts barking, and it's far. All the workers out in the fields are far enough away where they don't even hear it. But the goats are a little put off, and you have to move past it. And as you move across the field back down in this direction, the dog keeps following you and barking.
Cute.
So he's trailing behind the last of the goats and is drawing lots of attention. Sorry, not drawing attention, but will draw attention if it continues to follow you.
Do I have any rations on me that I could try to throw?
Sure, yeah.
All right, I will happily throw a ration at it.
Okay. What is the nature of the ration that you throw? Like, what kind of food is it?
The Venati gave us like fish jerky as part of our trail rations. But it's like a very thick piece of like fantasy sea bass that hasn't been like jerky down to leather.
Okay.
They don't have that sort of dehydration technology. So it's still got a little bit of heft to it.
Okay, got it. It's like it's smoked and still a little moist. So
Yeah.
You there's a pretty hefty chunk of that. You unwrap that and toss it, and the dog's totally and utterly distracted by this super smelly, delicious piece of food. And you guys carry on your way. There's a cluster of buildings along the road here, low buildings. You don't see a lot of people there, and you get sort of near the buildings, and up ahead, Paiviki, you're in the lead, and you see it's really great that it's just this workkeeper and these two Venati, because it's very easy to see them from a distance. Like, you can just instantly tell the fact that it's a tall person and two smaller people.
Let's get them. I thought that the three, or like some combination of the three, went with him down this road.
No. Sorry.
Oh, boy, howdy. Oh,
No,
this is
it's,
like,
it's the
I
one
mean,
guy.
yeah, they're going to know that the prisoner got here, but we can cover it up to make it look like all sorts of shenanigans. Yeah, if Taimi is able to see that far, Taimi elbows Muirin and Paiviki, and, like, let's get him.
Okay, so you say that, and what you guys should know about this area. So this whole settled area on the west side of the river here is all like low. It's like part shanty town. It's like hovels. There's smoke coming up from various places. It's clearly a very poor part of town. There's debris and junk piled up. There's you see people moving to and fro. So it is populated, and there are people around, and it appears to be one of the poor districts of the settlement. In the immediate vicinity of our quarry, there's no people immediately there, but anybody over here who happened to be, whose attention was directed that way, would see whatever went down. Whether they would care about it is another question, but that's what you're looking at.
And our quarry has made it almost to the river there?
Yeah, but it looks like from the road that they're following actually comes along the river in the inside follows this wall right here. So it looks to you like they're just following the road and that they're going to go along the edge of the district.
Did you say there's a wall?
There's a kind of retaining wall along the river right here that's raising this area up off the water level.
It seems like there's a reason they don't want to go through there. I think if we could get them and then head back, maybe along the river or away from town, less people would see us.
Yeah, you're talking like going like north along the river bend, like following
that
there.
way?
Yeah. How wide is this river? This isn't crossable, is it?
Definitely not. Not at this juncture. I mean, These goats can swim, but with all the stuff on them, plus you, I mean, if you swam separately from them, it's swimmable. Yeah, a hardy person can swim this river. And I think you're all relatively hardy folk. And the goats are totally comfortable with water. So I was going to say it's not crossable on foot, but you could swim across it.
Yeah, I think that would be. That'd be a way to get across, and it'd be pretty hard for them to track us.
I wonder if there's any way that I could get in front of them. Could we cut through the shanty town?
There's no walls or anything around the shanty town, so you could, in theory, totally cut through down this way. Yeah, or even like do that.
We could pull off a ruse and get the word keepers distract him that way. If I could get in front of him and pretend that I've been, pretend I'm a word keeper who's been attacked by somebody in the shanty town, maybe we could get him to leave his prisoners and then take off with him.
He'd have to be a pretty bad soldier, right, to leave his prisoners, right? Or
he'd also have to be a bad soldier to not help some word keepers who are in trouble. Give me one of your arrows and I could pretend that it's stuck into my side and that we're being attacked by somebody in the shanty town, and then run off with the prisoners.
So now they moved out of sight.
God damn it!
Right, that's just to encourage decision making. That's all,
right.
That's all I'm doing.
Let's cut through the shanty town and try and head them off.
Like the whole gang on goats?
No, let's leave the two.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you want the ruse, like I'm pretty sure we could follow along.
I think you guys are gonna have to think on your feet.
Yeah. Can we just maybe we could just run through the shanty town? Do you think we could do that?
No goats.
No goats.
Jasper says, "Go, my friends, go!"
Yeah. So
she grabs the goats.
We hop off the goats and start running through the shanty town.
Okay, so keep in mind you have only what you, right? You're not carrying your backpack, right? You want to move fast. You and Jaime are wearing your chainmail.
Yeah.
I suppose you're going to bring your word keeper helmet. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that means you guys probably have your crossbows. Well, you can make a note of that. Just you're not bringing your. I mean, you can bring a backpack. It's up to you. But
I would just bring my crossbow and my sword and knife.
Okay. And you are hoofing it through this neighborhood.
What do you guys think?
No time to think, dude.
All right, we're doing it.
We're doing it.
So we're running through. We're trying to cut them off before they get to the main bridge.
Yeah. Yeah, so you want to do this quickly without getting hung up. Whoever's got the lowest dexterity is going to make a saving throw.
That's me, I think. What have you got, Moirin?
I think my dex is pretty high. I am. I don't know, but
yeah, I think Moirin's good.
14.
Yeah, 16. So
16.
it's not me.
And
Yeah.
and Taimi has an 18. So
Yeah, that's luck and dexterity are my hot.
I've got a 10.
and you're
That's not
leading,
bad.
and Paiviki's leading the way, right?
Sure.
Unless somebody else wants to charge ahead. No. Okay. Okay. So you vault over. There's like a wooden fence that you vault over. You find yourself in a, a dirt back scattered hay with some chickens kind of scatter and fly, and then you just make a run through the neighborhood. So make a saving throw with Dex.
Okay, I got a 3.
Well, mark dexterity.
Nice.
Yay.
You get that. And roll 1 6-sided die.
4.
Okay. So you run across this yard with Taimi and Miriam right behind you. You climb up. There's like a couple of short steps onto this dusty street. 2 kids with like dirty faces turn and look at you. You sprint across the street. You go between 2 little low buildings, and the ground gives way underneath you. You've put your foot down on what looks like solid dirt, and your foot goes right through, and you go right up to your thigh, basically. There's some kind of hollow space or basement or tunnel that you just stepped right on, and you sort of smash through, and you fall into it's only like a 5-foot drop, and then you're surrounded, like dirt falls with you. There's a big puff of smoke and dust. Mirren and Taimi catch themselves, and you're confused for a moment, and like there was some kind of very weak wooden structure supporting this kind of tunnel that you've fallen into. You've landed on like a wooden cask that actually breaks under your weight. And enough has collapsed around you where it's kind of confusing, where this tunnel connects to or not. And it's muddy where you've landed. And to add insult to injury, after this long several days right on goat back, the cast kind of hit you right in the small of the back as you fell. So like you're in pain, and then this is all happening very quickly, obviously, and then Mirren and Taimi are kind of looking down at you. And then a person, there's just a brief pause while that happens, and then a person behind them says, "What's all this?" And Taimi looks back and sees at the mouth of the alleyway, there's a bewhiskered, kind of hunched over man in a blue kind of a ratty blue robe who's kind of staring at the situation.
Paiviki says, "I'll catch you up."
Oh, to your friends.
Yeah.
Okay. Urging Taimi and Mirren to move on.
I give Mirren a look, pointing my eyes in the direction that we were going, and then I run.
Okay. So you leap across the opening?
Yeah.
And Mirren, are you following?
Yeah, gotta follow tight.
Okay, so you guys sprint off. And Paiviki, the dust is kind of settling a little bit, and you're and kind of trying to pick yourself up. And this figure kind of, the head of this figure appears at the edge of the hole, looking down at you.
And I'm just gonna play the
Word keeper?
Yeah, the irate word keeper, just like, "What have you done? I can't believe you leave your streets in these conditions. Help me out of here."
Oh, it sounds like you're trying to intimidate.
Yeah.
Great. So that is the move is negotiate, and you're using strength.
Should I roll that?
Yeah.
All right, I got a 10.
And what was it that you wanted this person to do? Just get out, get away?
Yeah, just kind of like, I was just trying to get him to like, feel like it's his fault. It just happened.
So there's a barrage of invective, and he like shudders and he tries to get a word in, and then clearly he's not going to, and you're like climbing up out of the hole, shouting at him.
Yeah, and I was like, help me out of here.
And he sort of moves forward, and he's just like a frail old man. So like the idea of him helping you is kind of absurd.
Yeah.
So he kind of like is in a weird, awkward position. One of the little street kids kind of is peeking around the corner at the same time. Yeah, so you completely intimidated him into helping you, and then
I grab like a couple of silver, and as I rush off, I like toss a couple silver to him.
Ooh, wow. Wow. And he's like, he runs, and actually the street kid runs and right underneath him and grabs the silver. So he doesn't pay attention.
That's trickle down economics right there.
That's how it all works in the shantytown.
So Taimi and Muirin, you guys have actually ended up on the roof of a shack that overlooks the little road that is along the river there. So you're basically right here. And right when you kind of quietly, it's like a slanted roof. It's like dirt that goes into a slanted roof. So you get to that point, and you realize it's going to give you the kind of perspective that you need. So you sort of slow down and very quietly, go up so that you can peer over the edge of this roof. And you see the word keeper and his two charges being led this way. Now, at this point, there's a fair number of people on the street. You're getting towards this main bridge, and it's not super busy, but like there is traffic. There's foot traffic on this bridge. And then looking towards where that bridge meets the town proper at the main gate there's a lot of, it gets pretty crowded around the main gate. So you've gotten to the edge of this roof right as they are passing.
This is it. We got to take our chance. They get across that bridge, and that's it.
You've got your bow ready?
Yeah, the crossbow's been loaded for a while since the slime devils.
I trust you.
Okay, I in between here and if I was to jump down, would I be able to pull him into an alley?
Ooh. I'm going to say, so in my head, I'm picturing him like sort of on the far side of this road. So he's closer to the wall that goes down to the river. So you could pull him over into an alley on your side, but it would be like grabbing him and dragging him like 15 feet. So it's not like pull it right into the alley. You'd have to drag him across the way. But yes, there is an alley.
Yeah, I'd love to drag. That's.
So you're just going for it.
I'm just gonna go for it. Yeah.
So you leap down off the roof.
Yeah.
Out of his peripheral vision, run up, and Muirin, if you want to act, just let me know. I'm just describing what time he's doing. And meanwhile, Paviki, you will be here shortly. And so you're sort of just out of his peripheral vision, kind of running up at an angle from sort of behind of him. And then what are you gonna do?
I'm going to put my crossbow to his back and grab him by the back, and then back up with him.
What?
Not another word or I'll gut ya.
But you're using your crossbow.
Run you through?
No, I'm not worried about you using proper language with this guy. I'm just trying to understand physically. So you grab him, you jam the crossbow in your back, your fingers on the
trigger. The release lever.
Yeah. No, it's what's the fantasy word for trigger?
Is it a giant Atari joystick?
A lever, yeah. So you jam that into his back. I'm just trying to think, like, physics-wise, if you shot a crossbow at somebody while it was pressed against them,
It would be
it wouldn't actually be able to fling the full force of the arrow because the bolt would just stop, right? Because you release it, and it's immediately encountering resistance. The string won't be able to go the whole. It won't be able to push it.
No, but you'd have the tensile strength of the string to push it in.
Well, it doesn't
through
work
chainmail in his body, like from up close.
The string is made to be unstretchy.
Yeah. Okay.
With a cross any kind of bow.
I'm just thinking, and I'm thinking that Taimi would know this also, so I'm just trying to run it through.
But it also, I think it would be pretty powerful because it wouldn't, even if it didn't get its full.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have any chance to decelerate either.
Okay.
It would hit him pretty hard.
Okay, I'll buy it. Okay, great. So, and so like one arm around the neck kind of thing with that in the small of his back. Boy, what's he gonna? He's gonna. Sorry, it's a she actually. Ooh. So you do that, and she immediately is just like, just starts struggling with you. Like it's just not gonna. So I guess you can either shoot her to convince her you mean business, or use your strength to try to, or unless you have some other tactic. But at this point, it's like she's struggling to get free, so it's like a strength thing to like keep her under control.
I can't use Ben Barr's lift gates for this, can I?
What's the wording on that?
When you use pure strength to remove or destroy an inanimate obstacle. No, I can't.
No.
I was just thinking, so then no, then I don't have anything to use.
I mean, you could use, it would just be your raw strength.
Yeah, I'll use a raw strength roll. I have +1 to that. So I'll use my strength to try to wrestle her. And I'm going to take a page out of Taimi's book, or Paiviki's book.
Yeah.
You know, you were like blaming everything on like the great thief, Paiviki.
Yeah, the brigand.
The brigand. As I'm doing this, I'm just gonna be blathering about like that we're brigands from the River Enclave. I'm just nonsense. I want to peg it on anybody besides us. Like yeah, we're from the River Enclave. we got you now.
My abductor was strangely expositional.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
That is an 8 plus 1 is 9.
Okay.
You know what? I'm gonna burn a luck. I really want to succeed at this one.
All right. So that's a good. You're sort of muttering in her ear, and you just give, and there's the struggle, and then you just give like a really good, like a wrench that like locks her neck against your arm, and her other hand is like was grabbing for her short sword, but then it like goes up to like keep you from choking her.
Uh-huh.
And then then Paiviki arrives at the viewpoint as well. Meanwhile, the two prisoners are sort of standing there dumbfounded watching you do this. And they were actually, the word keeper was holding on to a rope that was connected to them and has dropped that. So the prisoners are sort of standing there connected to each other but free. And you drag the word keeper back into this alleyway.
I guess I look up to see what they're doing. I kind of do the head motion towards the prisoners.
Okay. All right. Muirin, you want to do any?
Does it seem like Taimi will not need help then with the grapple because she's got?
Appears to have the guard subdued.
Then I will grab the Venati and then kind of usher them to like a hiding spot.
Like a different spot from where Taimi is?
Yes. Well, okay. Yeah, sort of just like, far away from the court team.
Okay, so you leap down off the roof and run over. The Venati look, they're like, see you coming at them, and they're like, oh, 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 and they both sort of like together are like, um, they're clearly afraid of you as you come running up towards them. The River Enclave.
They're vicious.
I'll speak to them a few words of what I know of Venati and just try to just really whisper, shh, it's okay, I'm here to help, but hurry up and come, basically.
Okay, so you say like, you stop and you're like, it's okay, come with. Sorry, I'm checking out their. Okay, so one of them, so they're both older Venati women. One of them is they're both actually sort of broad. One of them is quite stocky. And one of them kind of looks at the other one and nods her head to reassure the one that looks a little more nervous. And then they sort of are looking around, and at this point there's like, there's a cat sitting looking at you guys. There's somebody standing in a doorway a couple doors down, kind of just watching this all happen, not really reacting, but just watching. Like they're not running to go get the word keepers or anything like that. Just kind of observing, and they follow Muirin to a spot kind of on the other side of the shack that Paiviki's on. So Taimi's on the kind of south side, and Muirin and the Venati are on kind of the north side.
Am I still within sight of the civilians?
No.
Okay.
Once you got her into the alley, no, you're out of sight. Yeah.
Can I show up?
Yeah. You're there.
All right. How about I want to. Here's my big idea. I jump in behind Taimi and tap Taimi on the shoulder and say, "Let her go, you brigand!" And I kind of like I tap Taimi on the shoulder, and then I'm gonna clock the word keeper in the head and try and give her the old knockout punch
with your bare fist.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to knock her unconscious. It's a trick that I used back in wrestling days as a youth. Great. Back in the village.
So you're trying to impress upon this word keeper that a word keeper has shown up to try to interfere and save the day at the same time that you're knocking them out without them noticing that you're the one knocking them out. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to take a swing because right now Taimi's got her like this.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take a swing. And if she notices that I'm a word keeper, I look like a word keeper, hopefully assume that I missed. And that I hit her instead.
Oh, that you were trying to hit Taimi.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah, so you just have to roll to that's a strength roll. And you can spend metal because it's your favorite weapon, right? Unarmed.
Yeah. I'm gonna spend a metal.
Okay. And you got what's your strength bonus? +1.
+1.
Okay. That gives you +2. And I would say that Taimi is helping you because
I'm positioning.
Yeah, positioning, all that. So that's another plus. You get +3.
Okay. Oh, I got a 6 +3.
Okay.
That's a 9. I think I'm gonna up it to a 10.
Ooh, okay.
Watch that like sizzle away.
Yeah.
Burning away.
Clock, and there's like her head jerks back, and just the way that will knock somebody out, and then lolls to one side, and she goes limp in Taimi's arms.
Okay. Let's go.
Why shouldn't I shoot her?
Give me
one reason why I shouldn't shoot her right through the face.
Because then you'll have to see yourself shooting her through the face for the rest of your life.
What if this word keeper's next assignment is Rayuna? What if this word keeper, goes to Rayuna and cuts down the mother tree? What if she, oh my, why am I forgetting? Was Kosti one? Yeah. What if she destroys the red cap and kills Kosti and the elders? Cut off Yarko's other arm. Could you look at that for the rest of your life?
And then Paviki says, what if I was the word keeper? Would you shoot me? And I'm dressed up with the word keeper helmet and everything else.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know what 100% means. Of course I would. And I get like right up in her face. Like, if you were to turn on Rayuna like that, your life would be forfeit. What they're doing is wrong, and by donning that uniform and doing their job, they're committing evil.
So Mirren, you've come around the far side of the shack, and you have the two women with you, the two Venati, and they're definitely nervous and anxious, but they've calmed down a little bit, and you've got them calm, and then you see this exchange happening. And the word keeper, I guess the word keeper is collapsed on the, sort of slumped against the wall of the shack as this conversation is happening.
Yeah, if I can get Taimi's attention, I'll hopefully say, like, we've got the prisoners. Hurry. I mean, not the prisoners, the Venati.
This is tough because
I look at the prisoners, and then I look at Paiviki, and then I grab this guy's crossbow, or lady's crossbow, and does she have like one of those classic like little sacks of money, like
sure.
here's your pay, toll man. No one ever counts it. They just weigh it in their hand. They're like, oh, it's the right amount.
A good number of marbles in there.
Yeah. I mean, I would. Yeah, and yeah, I'll go. I mean, I've been obsessed with the hunt, and this was our quarry. Our quarry was to get this. And
you cut the coin purse off her belt, right?
Yeah, I grabbed the coin purse. I grabbed the crossbow. I would love for Saltwall to have that. And I'm okay.
Okay.
And rage diffused for the moment.
Okay.
Taimi is basically like the Hulk. You kind of have to calm her down.
Well, yeah, she's big and stupid, and
after a fight.
Yeah. So I guess the question is, we want to meet up with the goats, but like, do we want to go back the way we came, or do we want to go across the river?
After you meet up with the goats, you mean?
I mean, I think that's step one. Step one is meet up with the goats.
Yeah, let's get to the goats as quick as we can.
I think this is just going to be one roll to get to the goats without. So you got the prisoners in tow. You got somebody in a word keeper outfit. So are you going to keep the prisoners tied up, or are you going and pretend that they're yours, or are you going to untie them and look less like a word keeper, or split up? It's just going to be one roll to get you back to the rendezvous point. But I'm just curious about what the plan is to get back there.
What's the physical state of the prisoners? Like, if we were to bring them at a brisk pace, would they be able to keep up, or would it?
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, they've been walking for days, but they can keep on walking. They're sort of energized by the idea that they're free. So yeah, they have energy. Or maybe going to be free. They're still a little anxious because they don't know you guys.
Muirin would prefer that the Venati not look like prisoners, just because she feels like they've had to pull another ruse is like sacrificing their dignity, and so she prefers that they just try to escape as
Okay.
free people.
Would it be fair to say that Muirin has already taken their bonds off of them? Like when you got them out of sight, would you have done that?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what, we're going to be fairly conspicuous, carrying lots of crossbows. And
I think Taimi and the Venati in their current states, sorry, not Taimi, Muirin, can move through this area without drawing too much attention. Yeah, elves are unusual, but in a settlement of this size, they're not unheard of. It is, yeah, the multiple crossbows and one of you looking like a word keeper that might be the attention getting.
yeah, I think Paviki would just walk through in a brisk way, looking angry. And if anybody looks sour at her, she just shouts at him.
Okay, great.
What do you want? Go back in your hut.
Perfect. Perfect. Do you want to just lead the way with that attitude?
Sure.
For the whole gang?
Yeah. Just kind of like stomping through town, kind of angry.
Okay. I don't think there's any role needed. I think that totally does the job. There's a point where the guy, the bewhiskered old man in the blue robe, peers out through a shuttered window, and you just bark at him, and he like disappears.
What are you looking at?
But the street kid who took the money before kind of hovers around and kind of follows you guys a little bit, like hoping for another. In fact, the street kid has a couple friends with them. So there's like 3 urchins who are like hoping for another coin to be tossed their way.
Yeah. I'm gonna. What did you call us? The river gang?
The river enclave.
Yeah. I'm gonna take a silver and I'm gonna be like, here's from the river enclave, and I throw him another coin.
Are you breaking your word keeper attitude for that, or?
I'll just let the kids try and figure that one out. I'll just say, this is from the river enclave.
And they all scramble for that one silver coin.
I just want the kids to start spreading the rumor of the river enclave.
Great. Okay. And then you arrive back at the rendezvous point. There's like a shade tree near an old broken down wall where the 2 Venati, where Jaspinder and Upajai are waiting, and Asrit, Dione! And they run. Oh, there's like the women, one of them kind of breaks down in tears. The other one seems a little more stoic, and they all greet each other heartily, and there's, embracing and lots of talking in Venati. It looks as if you have successfully extracted the prisoners.
Is it nighttime yet?
I'd say, yeah, I think it is. I think that one of the reasons that went down was that it was basically twilight and it was pretty shadowy in those areas where you were. And now the sky is just like a dark blue and there's just a little bit of light in the west. So yeah, it's basically nighttime. Evening.
So yeah, what do you think about going across the river? And what is it like across the river? Is it more farmlands, or looking at the map, it looks like there might be scattered woods across the river.
Yeah, there's some light forest. When it was a little more light, now it's impossible to see because it's pretty much dark. But your impression was that it was sort of rolling grassland, farmland, and some light forest areas. Yeah. Certainly in that area there, you didn't see any actual farms. It looked more like there may be some fields out there, but it didn't look like there was any settlings, any structures.
Yeah, if it's not too hard to get across the river, then that would give us a better way to get out of there than going through the estate.
Suburbs.
Yeah.
Suburbs, right? Okay, so there's some there's some drinking of water and some restoring bites of food for the women, and you make your way down to that the banks of the river there. It's not a fast-flowing river. It's just a question of, and all Venati, being the coastal dwelling people that they are, they all learn to swim from a very young age, so there's no problem with that. Can all you swim? I'm going to say Muirin can swim because Muirin is well-traveled. There is the little river in Rayuna where swimming could have happened. Taimi is an outdoorsy person. Paviki, can you swim?
I would think so. I would be surprised if she could not swim.
Okay.
She seems, besides being average in dexterity, she seems pretty all around athletic and ready for, bruises and bumps. Not like a scaredy cat.
Yeah. Okay. I'll buy it. I don't think there's any danger in crossing this river. I think that a lot of stuff is going to get wet. The goats have to swim. You can sort of pack stuff on the goats to keep it above water. So I think it's just going to be a luck roll to see if you lose some provisions or something like that. And at this point, you guys came with enough provisions for, including the idea that you would get that you would recover these prisoners plus the guard. You have enough for all of you for probably 4 more days. The goat's pretty loaded up with food. So, and there's anything else that could be wrecked by water that you have?
I'm looking at.
I've got a writing kit.
I have rope and herbs and poultices are the things that I think would get either swept away or ruined, damaged.
So you guys take the time to secure everything as well as you can. Of course, the Venati really know how to rig these boats up, so they handle most of that packing. And just to see if you lose anything on the way across, it's a luck roll again from the person with the lowest luck.
Is that so? That's for me.
That's
it. 9. Oh no. 10.
Oh, all right. Sweet. Okay. You can get to the other side, into those woods over there. All intact. Everything seems okay. Are you going to go further afield before you camp, or camp in this little clutch of forest?
I would suggest that we go a little bit further afield.
Yeah.
In case we're followed.
Yeah.
Okay. So you head out along the river shore for another couple of hours. I'm going to say, nothing happens before. I rewrote these moves, actually.
Daring escape.
What's that?
Is the move called daring escape? Discreet retreat.
I rewrote pass the night and set out to make them a little simpler on the judge's side, a little more easy to parse on the judge's side. But I don't have printed out. I just got to refer to my other. Actually, let's see if I can. Sorry, I'm just going to open my rules PDF.
Always happy to see the word hard scrabble.
That's a good word. Sorry, I got to figure out. Oh, I'm navigating this while you guys are. All right. Wait. Oh, this is the old one. Damn it. Sorry.
No problems.
I'm going to stop sharing so I can navigate more. Oh, I know. I didn't turn it into a PDF. I left it. It's still in InDesign, but I think I put out the. Yeah, no. Well, I'll just use the pre-existing one. That's fine. I thought I had that ready. Okay. So we're making camp. You guys are basically going through, I'll keep track of this so you don't have to. So like I said, you have 4 days of rations for the whole gang, and this uses up 1 of them. And does anybody want to keep company? As you settle in, Upajai's got a fire going. You found there's like a little bit of a gully that has a little stream at the running through it. So you basically go into there and make a little campsite so that the flame of your campfire won't be noticeable from either side. And Jaspinder comes back from the river with a clutch of fish that she's just caught. And those are going to get cooked up on skewers. Is everybody wiped out and just wants to go to sleep, or would anybody like to keep company with anybody else?
I mean, I guess I'll talk to Paiviki if she'll engage.
Sure.
I guess I want to just revisit the point of why you stayed my hand earlier. But then also at the same time, why you would compare yourself to a word keeper.
Oh yeah.
Well,
that point that took me aback.
if circumstances were different, who knows? I could have ended up as a word keeper. I'm big enough.
Circumstances, who are we to know where the seed falls and the tree grows? Circumstances could have been different for any of us. I could have been Paiviki, the red cap brewer. I could have been Paiviki, the shoemaker. You're not a word keeper, and I think that even if circumstances were different, your heart would, I hope, not allow you to be a word keeper.
Well, so at this point, make the roll.
Okay.
To see how the conversation goes. And do you have any bonds with?
I do have. I have 1 empty circle with Paiviki.
You get a +1.
Okay, that's 2 and a 4 plus 1 is 7.
Yeah, play it out or summarize, and you choose one from the list below. So continue with the conversation.
Oh, nice. Well, yeah, no, I mean, I passed the question to you. I don't think, even if circumstances were different, do you really think that you could be a word keeper?
I don't know what it's like to be raised as a Korkeen. I don't know if the people who are word keepers have that many options either.
I mean, everybody has options, right? I think that some might say that they had no option but to stay in Rayuna. Yarko felt so. He felt like he couldn't leave, but we left. I don't think that we're confined by destiny.
How do we know that that word keeper wouldn't join us someday instead of fight against us?
That's a super valid point. Taimi furrows her brow and considers that.
Okay.
It's true that I've found friends in places where I didn't think I would. I don't know if I'm grateful that you stayed my hand, but what's done is done, and I'm happy that we all made it out.
We'll see how it ends up.
Yeah, I know we still got a long journey. Do you have a bond? Well, I don't want to.
I don't have a bond with you.
If you feel as if that conversation or this experience would give you a bond with Taimi, then
Yeah.
okay, then go ahead and take it. Yeah, I don't want to force.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's perfect.
That was great. Muirin, was there anything you wanted to do before bedding down?
I wanted to, I don't know if this is keep company as much as I wanted to let Taimi know that I was impressed by her restraint, and yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, Taimi takes the compliment, but I guess feels, although she tries not to show it, a little bit of shame because her restraint was not her own, and in a vacuum she would have killed her.
Yeah.
But it's the reinforcement, is kind of enforcing that it was the right decision to let that woman live, even if Taimi's not quite there yet. I would like to keep company with one of the goats. Get a +1. No, just kidding.
Okay, great. When you settle into sleep, set the watch order and choose someone to roll safety. If nobody has any preference about watch order, I'll just write down. Yeah, does anybody have preference?
No.
I think Taimi would probably go first because she's probably still riled.
Okay, great. And Muirin, are you okay going last? Before dawn?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then you guys choose somebody to roll or how the night goes. It's just affected by the safety of the region that you're in. And you're actually in this is a safe region, so probably nothing will happen. You just have to decide who rolls.
Muirin, why don't you roll?
And if it's safe, is it a +2 or?
It's +3. So 2d6 plus
+3. Wow.
3. Cool. Oh, yay. 11 + 3.
Yeah. What a restful sleep everyone gets. It's like a moment of pure, like there's, you can see all the constellations, smell of wood smoke. It's chilly because it's spring, but like there's the sense that you've accomplished this thing that you set out to do. The goats snore in an almost musical way. And everybody gets a great night's sleep. So when you roll a 10 or higher, the way I rewrote it is anybody hurt? Is anybody missing any ability points or anything like that? Are you all good?
Oh, I'm missing a hit point.
Well, you definitely get that back. And then you wake in the morning.
Oh, so if my constitution is 13, would it move up to 14 or no? That's different.
No. You can heal ability points. Yeah. Is 14 are you just down 1 point?
Yeah, so my max is 14 and my current is 13.
Yep. You recover that. When you roll a 10 or less, you basically get to choose. Well, both of these things happen, which is you heal 1 plus your con in hit points, 1 plus your con modifier, and then you also can regain 2 ability points. So that's just 1. So you're good.
Very cool.
All right. Looking at I got to pull out the overland map again. So the next day, it looks like, well, let's see, you got your two charges, and they can together ride on the, there's a little bit of repacking and weight distribution, but together Osfried and Diana can ride on the fifth goat there. Sixth goat. And you guys are going to set off for Midjarvi, that town where you ran into Palvinder, the little town in the wetlands, if you recall. Is everybody cool with that? Is anything going to happen before you set off? Oh, hello, Arwen. Kitty.
She was bothering me.
Yeah, go.
No. So the idea is we'll follow the river for a little bit, then cross back into it once we get back to Woodlands.
Yeah, I guess the big question is, right, like, do you want to stay off the road?
I think as long as we're in eye shot of Sakagara, I would say yes. Because like they might try to prowl the roads. You know, they're going to put two and two together. They're going to check with the guy that wakes up or the lady that wakes up, and they're going to be like, oh, the River Enclave took the 2 prisoners, and then the checkpoint is going to be alerted or whatever.
Okay. So stay off the road for like half a day, and then get back on it. Sorry, your mic's up.
Yeah, it's on now. That's what I would recommend, or that's what I would lean towards.
Everybody cool with that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and this is to get to Midjarvi, you move into unsafe territory. So this roll is going to be unsafe, and it's a roll for the whole day. And who would like to make that roll? You guys choose who makes that roll. This one is a +2 roll.
I'll make it.
Okay.
That is 2 4s plus 2 is
Nice. 10. Okay, you complete the leg in good time, consume the expected amount of rations, and any player may choose to keep company. I guess on Goat Back it's a little hard to do that, but there's breaks during the day. And you're not riding all out, right? Like you were to get here? A little more of an easy pace?
A little easier. I think at least this first day, I want to put a lot of distance.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you cross back across this landscape.
Oh, yeah.
Then you return by evening. You reach the wetlands and the village of Midjarvi.
Oh, we had to cross the footprints, right?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Yep, and they are. It's only the next day, so they're still there. Yeah, it's still the blackened, curled up. Yeah, did you want to do something now that you're not so rushed, or you just sort of take note of them again as you pass and think about the great hunt?
I think the only thing I'd like to take note of is whether I can discern from the footprint what direction it was going.
Yeah, very easily. It was headed. So as you head back to Midjarvi, you're heading south, and it was headed. As you're heading, if you're headed south, from that perspective, it came from the left and went right. So it came from the east, from east to west. It was moving westward.
Okay.
Taimi, is this the River King's cousin?
Some sort of mountain king or stone king.
Are there kings all over this land?
I didn't think so, but now I'm starting to think that there's creatures that are beyond description. There's so much of this world to see. I'll be curious to know if the elder of Midjarvi has any knowledge of this. Yeah, so you get back into that village, and
Palvinder is still there and is overjoyed to see the two women who had been captured. And Nirik is the name of the guy that is sort of ostensibly, there's no real official leader, but people look to Nirik as leader. He's a tanner who runs, he has a sort of hide tanning operation outside of the village proper.
Myrick.
Nirik, Nyrrik.
I'm going to count the coins in that purse that I took.
Oh yeah, let's roll for that. So grab a d6. So this first roll is you're going to roll that, and then that's the number of d6 rolls you're going to make. So roll the d6.
3.
Okay, and then roll it 3 times and tell me the numbers one at a time.
Okay. First one is 1.
Okay.
Second one is 3.
Okay.
Third is 3.
Okay. And roll a d12 twice.
12.
And again.
And a 2.
Okay. And then do the d12 thing again twice.
3. 3.
In this purse, there's no money.
Oh. Rats.
It is a lump of black tar soap that this wordkeeper must have used to keep clean, and a handful of glass beads. And that the clinking of the glass beads must have convinced you that there was some coinage in there.
That tracks. That 100% tracks.
Glass beads might be kind of valuable.
Yeah, glass is actually very unusual.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll put that away.
And now you can wash.
Yeah, I know. What a boon. So I guess
we call this soap.
Soap.
A Corkine invention.
Yeah.
I think that Taimi would share. She would, if asked, she would share the soap, or she would be like, "Oh, all the pouch had was the soap," but I think she pocketed the beads.
Okay. So if anybody wants to use this lump of soap,
Yeah.
they're free to do so.
No, I'd love to ask Nirik about the footprints.
Here we go. God, I couldn't find this piece of information. Okay. Yeah. So you're, I guess it's a pretty small village and there's not a whole lot of big structures. So again, you're camping out in the open, sort of at the edge of, it's nighttime, but you remember during the day when you arrived that there's this beautiful lake with all kinds of the sound. There's like the crazy chorus of spring frogs, right.
Yeah.
The sound of crickets and the Venati are all talking amongst themselves excitedly, clearly, going over the events that have happened. There's several kind of admiring glances cast in your direction, all three of you. And Nirik says, "Oh, yes, the giant Soxiamus. You have seen his way.
What does that mean, Soxiamus?
It means
We don't have that word. Or do we?
in the old tongue it means tooth. Black tooth keeper, tooth haver, one who has teeth." He tries to, but he's like, but not tooth, big teeth, There is a word, he can't, so he just keeps using the word tooth, but he says really, really big tooth. And he says, it is not a good omen to come across these footprints. You saw how they killed the life around them.
Yeah, it was unnatural. Is the Soxiamus not of this land?
He has been here longer than any of us remember. They say he lives near the haunted head.
I guess I unfurl our map.
Do you guys have a map? You don't have a map.
We don't have a map?
If you had a map, you'd be seeing. I'd be showing you pictures of maps. You don't have.
All right, we need a map. Where does he dwell? Where is this head that he dwells, so that we can avoid it?
It is to the northwest, beyond the edge of the marsh, in the foothills. It is a rock formation with a face cut into it. So around here we call it the Haunted Head, because there are stories of ghosts that dwell in that area.
Does the monster trouble you?
Oh yes. Anytime we leave the safety of the wetland, we say prayers that we will not fall under his footfall, fall under his stride. He leaves the earth scarred and dead when he passes.
With a stride that long, it's a wonder that the whole plane isn't black and decaying.
The plants do recover after time. Much in the way that after a fire, plants grow anew. But his prints do not have it takes longer than it would in the wake of ash. For some reason, he avoids the marsh. He does not like this watery area, which is why we were able to settle here. But this valley, and he sort of gestures out across the lake, he passes here and there at different places in the valley. I have only ever seen him at a distance, and I do not wish to see him up close.
How vast would you wager the beast is?
Trying to think of like a good.
Yeah, what sort of swamp country measurement will you use?
right. He could pull a crow from the sky. And Taimi knows, crows are not really high-flying birds. It's very common. When Taimi's used to seeing crows, they're usually flying at a height of around, 40 feet.
Bill.
That's not that tall.
Yeah, these big beasts that we could never even touch.
We should tell him about the River King.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, we have seen a giant south of here along the river. They call him the River King. And it is said that he has great treasure. In fact, there was one who took some treasure from him. And I'm wondering, with these giants, are they all loaded with treasure?
Jaspiner says, Bajnik, you speak of Bajnik.
I was getting to that part. Bajnik.
The great thief of our people.
Is Soxiamus loaded with treasure like the River King?
I have heard stories of Soxiamus carrying a tree like a club, but no stories of silver or or jewels. Although some believe that the haunted head was once inhabited by people long ago, none have dared approach it in the time that we have been alive.
Ooh.
Who can say what it might hold?
Now that's interesting. I would love to explore that place while that thing is out.
While that thing is out?
The
Well, it's not. I see what you're saying. Well, he's not hanging around yet.
Soxiamus, yeah.
Yeah.
Does Soxiamus leave the haunted head and roam the lands for long periods of time? Or does it stay pretty close to the haunted head?
So Nierik's apprentice, who's a halfling tanner, has also with you guys at the fire.
Oh, have we ever seen a halfling before?
You have. There's one in Rayuna, actually.
Oh.
The woman who tends the tree is actually a halfling.
Okay.
Halflings are integrated into human society, but they do sometimes have their own little neighborhoods in larger areas, but they're generally sort of scattered here and there. Saku is this guy's name, and he says, I have followed the giant. And Nierik looks at him in surprise, like, what? And Saku kind of sheepishly says, I'm sorry, master. I know it's unsafe. And then he turns to Taimi and says, Sioxiamus seems to wander here and there, almost restlessly, as if he doesn't know what to do with himself. He returns often in the direction of the haunted head, although I've never been there. I promise, master. He does return there, but he seems to spend most of his days just wandering the land.
Does he return every night?
I have not watched him long enough to know that, but I have seen him return at when I have seen him walking towards that place. It usually is in the afternoon. The water shakes when he passes. You know he is nearby when you see the ripples in still water. And sometimes we hear him cry out.
Very interesting. I imagine the treasures there, or whatever is left there from the people that came before, might be very interesting. But we need to get these poor prisoners back on the road.
Yes, and you should get your rest.
Nierik, could we crave a boon?
What is it? What do you wish?
If anyone inquires about whether the prisoners came through here, can we count on your discretion?
You took something back from the word keepers. I am a man of law. I do what I can to keep the law in this place. The word keepers say that they keep the law of the Korkin. But I do not like their law. And you have done a good thing by helping the Venati people. We will never speak of you to them. Is this true, Saku? And Saku says, yes, we will make sure all the villagers know not to speak of your passage.
I reach out to give him one of those, grab the forearm handshakes.
A fancy handshake?
A fancy, we're scheming. I won't forget this.
Okay. Everybody goes to sleep. Wakes up refreshed the next morning. I think everybody's topped up. And if you're not rushing, this next leg will get you to Arlenduir.
Oh,
Elf village in the woods. So by dusk on this next day, oh yeah, I got to mark out for days on the calendar.
Let's all go to Arlenweir. Elvin hang out in the woods. I hope they greet us with song.
Did they notice us pass by like at all, or was it too quick?
When you guys went through the elf town?
Yeah, I mean, I know I stopped, but like.
Yeah. There were enough people around at that time of day. Like, heads were turning, and you guys were fast. Seeing humans riding goats was really unusual. So, people are hungry for any kind of news or interesting story. So you got to figure that everybody there knows of your passage. Okay. So this is another set out. And you're going to choose somebody to make a roll. Who made it last time? Was that Weirin?
John Chad.
John Chad. So Paiviki, you want to do it?
Okay. What?
This is
there's 2 Ks in Paiviki.
Unsafe territory, so it's +2 to your roll.
I rolled an 8 plus 2 is 10.
Nice.
Let's go.
Wow. Okay. So this is like a great a day of travel with there's like a light breeze blowing across this this river valley that you're traversing. You pass a crossroads, which before you pass really quickly, almost too fast to notice it. It's like a T intersection where you guys are going south. You're going north to south, and then off. There's a road that goes off to the left, to the east. And there's a little campsite. There's nobody there right now, but at this juncture, there's clearly a cleared area, and there's some stumps and stuff where clearly this is a place where people sometimes camp in their travels. And you cross that river that had been sort of flooded with the spring rush that Paiviki got all wet in. That has completely it's gotten down to a much more passable level of water flow, and you're able to cross that without a problem. And the sun's dropping low in the west when you reach the top of the cliff that has the long switchbacks that descends. And from up here, looking down, you're looking out across the forest surrounding Arlenduir. Which the Venati call the Gatakara. So it's a mixed forest sort of stretching out from the cliff towards the sea, which you can see in the far distance over the tops of the trees. So you're that high up on this cliff, and then you start these long switchbacks down and move through the forest until you reach Arlenduir.
Was the name of my friend Akron?
Akon.
Okay.
And that's spelled E-A-C-C-H-A-N.
E-A-C-H.
C-C-H-A-N. Akon.
Each ham. Okay.
Yeah, right. Jaspender and Upajai, so that they make your presence known, and Kalian McQuick, who is the elf hunter who's founded Arlandweir, comes to greet you by that. So there's this shrine to the elven goddess Mother Soil, Mit Mathar Ithrik, who there's a shrine right at the edge of this. There's a pool, there's a waterfall and a pool that the encampment is kind of gathered around. And Kalian comes to greet you there and to welcome you. And here's the whole story. Muirin makes a, doesn't make a big show of it, but comes over to you and says like a specific kind of greeting in Elvish that means you are always welcome here. Introduces himself and says, I understand, Akon had told him about you and you coming through, and Akon is there too, actually. So you have that little exchange, and yeah, and so you're welcome to camp on the shore of the pool, the Linna Betha, the pool of life that this settlement has grown up around. And yes, there is song.
Oh, good.
Do they
There's
do they have anything to say
in the trees? Anything to say
about the people we rescued, or do they have any commentary on like any of our events, or they're just like impressive?
They so they got the rundown from Jaspinder, and Kalian is a little troubled, and when you talk to him, he says basically, you've done a good thing. A daring thing, but I worry what will happen next when the Korkeen, when word gets, like what's going on in Saltwall. I guess that's the question: is do you guys explain to him the whole situation? He knows that you've rescued the prisoners, but like he doesn't actually know what's going on in Saltwall itself. The fact that there are prisoners there, right? There's 8 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, I feel comfortable sharing that information with that group if you guys are, well.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel comfortable. These are Muirin's kin.
Yeah, I think if the more allies we can get, the better.
Yeah, and then I sort of want to mention that I understand worrying about like disrupting the society, like human society, the powers that are gathering, but I want to remind Callium that I think that because elves have existed peacefully for so long, that it's important to think of the different societies as like part of the important as well, to like try to preserve peace and freedom, not just that for our own tribes.
You speak of the old ways of our people. We have not lived that way in many centuries. Perhaps that is why we've ended up scattered to the 4 winds. I do not disagree with you.
How did this group decide to settle here, and how long has that been again?
I and a small group of hunters have wandered like you for 8 years. We wandered from here to there until we found this place and found it to our liking. It speaks to us. The blood of the trees runs in us, and here we are reminded of the old ways, and in some small manner try to live by those ways before our people fell, when times were simpler. So we hunt, and and he nods toward the shrine by the side of the pool. We think not of the high gods and look to Mother Soil for reassurance. We live day to day, and we find happiness in the small things. But what is surprising to many of us is that we feel we don't feel the urge to move like we used to. Yeah.
It's wonderful. Yeah, and it seems like truly a blessed place where the Mother Soil is caring for us as well as you caring for her.
Yes, as she has done over all these years. The woods themselves, make no mistake, if you go too far into the Gatakara, dark things await. But in proximity to this pool, this is a haven for us.
And then can I also, so I am unfamiliar with like the way that this group wants like worship or like pays respects to this shrine. Would Callium be open to sharing what they do or how they,
like
how they pay respect to it? Yeah, because I think I remember someone saying that you can bring a offering.
Yeah. Yeah, the offerings from what you've seen, like there are different times of year have different things, but they're very simple things from nature. So right now it's springtime, and there is like a little wooden bowl of water, and then a larger wooden bowl of water that has like flowers floating in it. Somebody's put like there's like a large chip of mica, that somebody's kind of set there. People seem to have found tokens in nature that are unusual or have a certain beauty to them and have brought them here. And there are also kind of closest to the wooden statue itself, there is earth that has clearly been, there are seedlings sprouting. So somebody has, recently planted seeds up there that are sprouting. And Kalian calls out in a kind of sing-song voice, and the elves that are nearby, the ones who are actually sort of joining. There's a couple little groups of conversations happening, and some people are, Diana and Asreed are totally asleep. They start to sing a song about in honor of Mathar Ithrek, and it's a beautiful song that you may have heard sort of strains of. There's definitely like a feeling in it that reminds you maybe of being a kid in the woods or wherever it was that you grew up. And it's just like this. And they're not all singing the same song. It's somehow like threaded together. They're singing sort of different lines, and it all kind of like weaves together.
Cool.
In kind of honor of, I guess in your mind's eye, you see the image of kind of tree branches kind of woven together. when they sing this song. And everybody, you know, the Venati are just like, when they start singing the Venati, you know, they don't grow serious, but Jaspinder and Upajai both are very jovial. They've been sort of very, they're more cheerful than not, and they sort of, a different kind of look comes over them. And they're just very, they're sort of dumbstruck by this Elvish singing. How does Taimi feel about this Elvish singing?
I don't know. I mean, she isn't disrespectful of other people's beliefs. I actually haven't put much stock. I think she believes in the mother tree. Like, I think she's pretty in line with like what the people of Reno believe in, like sanctity of the forest and stuff. And so I think this, you know, feels akin. So she can kind of see herself in what she believes in this, but it's still maybe a bit too distant for her to feel moved by it.
Yeah, great. Awesome. Donna, why don't you roll to keep company with Kalian, because I feel like you guys had a little bit of a, you know, talking about.
Sure, to see.
So you rolled
See what
2d6,
happens.
no modifier.
Ooh, 11.
Okay. So you can gain a bond with each other.
Okay, we
So
both
you
gain
can
one.
write down Kalian the Quick.
Very cool. And then, so you draw the circle and then you fill it, or you don't fill it?
You just draw the circle in ink, and then
Okay.
when you mark it, if you ever mark it, you just mark it in pencil, and then you can clear it.
Cool.
Who else do you have bonds with right now?
Topias? Oh, Topias.
You got one? Okay.
And then will I have a filled circle with Paibiki and then a filled circle with Durbin? So that's not.
Yeah, so after you keep company with them again, you can clear those
Then-
circles.
But, and you can also make a new circle, right? That's one of the choices that you have.
Yeah, you can make up to 3.
Okay.
You can have up to like sort of basically level 3 with somebody, and that means you're super tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like you'd want to keep company to just make more circles
Sure.
and then clear it instead
Yeah.
of just always clearing the one circle.
Yeah, right. It makes more sense to exactly to wait
Okay.
until you're leveled up.
The way
Unless you're like, you know, if your choice is like you're going to go into either way, you'd probably want to make more circles.
Either way, you at least at the beginning, either way you have one. I guess once you get that second circle, then it's like, okay, do you want 2 circles or do you want 1 circle?
Right. Right. And if you're about to go on some dangerous adventure, then it would make sense to like clear those 2
Yeah.
perhaps,
Okay.
right, before you do that.
Okay, so it's not a no-brainer.
if you roll a 10 or higher, then you can clear them and get one, or no?
No, you're right. You choose 2 from the list below. So you'd refresh all and you can get one. Yep. So a 10 or higher does give you that option. You can clear and get one. So what the thing that you're saying, John, on a 7 to 9, that's when that would become more of a critical decision. Like,
Yeah, got it.
okay. Anybody else?
Oh, how have I never noticed this paragraph at the end of Keep Company? When you spend time alone with your thoughts, share your internal monologue. If everyone agrees your thoughts are meaningful, take +1 forward to act upon them.
Yeah, there you go.
What? I could be giving monologues?
Yeah, there can be. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Speeches to yourself.
Or just having thoughts, having intense thoughts that maybe will be useful, right? Like, man, tomorrow I'm going to hunt that thing down. I'm going to get it. That's what I'm going to do.
Huh.
Okay. If there's no other interactions with the elven folk, does anybody have anything they wanted to say?
How many people would you say are here?
So this counts as a hamlet. And
I feel like I forgot to ask this question in Saltwall in terms of like me wrapping my head around the size.
yeah. Yeah, I guess I don't. It's like, I think in terms of total people, it's probably 30. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
24, 30. Yeah. And I mean, all told, probably 7 structures, and some of them are sort of tents. So it feels a little bit more like an encampment than a real settlement. But you get the impression that elves, don't put a lot of stock in, strong structures. They're perfectly happy sleeping out under the stars.
That's fun.
Okay. Last leg of the journey the next day. You were all so in the morning there's you're provided with fresh water from the pool and food that has been foraged in the forest, so you have like a nice meal prepared by the elves. And then the final leg back to Saltwall.
Do you think you could ever see yourself settling here?
Certainly for a short time.
Always the wanderer.
Okay. So the last leg. Who would like to make that roll?
Whose turn is it? Donna, did you make the last roll?
Yeah, because I talked to someone. Yeah.
Okay, I'll make the roll.
Go for it.
Are we still? This is +3 or +2?
You're now this stretch. Oh, this stretch is safe. It's +3. Yeah, it's along the coast. This sorry, whoops. This yeah. So you leave the forest and you're in this landscape.
I'm sorry to report that that is a 3 + 3 is 6.
Whoa.
Our journey was so safe before this.
It may not be, it doesn't necessarily mean it's an unsafe thing, but we'll see.
The 6 is a hazard.
Actually, I changed that whole thing.
Oh, is 6 a pile of gold now?
Platinum.
I mean, I just thought I'd ask. Could be.
Ooh, that's pretty.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got to open up the. I didn't print out this page. I'm opening up InDesign to look at it. I just made these changes like yesterday, so I'm not.
Ooh, fresh.
And the idea was to make it a little easier on the judge because coming up with stuff is kind of a challenge. So,
But don't you roll the mishap creature discovery hazard obstacle on like a table?
yeah, but what I've changed is here actually stop share, and then I'll share a different screen. This is the InDesign document here. So the move has been reworded so that it's not its own little mini table now. Here it says, you complete the leg, blah, blah, blah. On a 7 or 9, there's an incident at some point along the way. But on a 6 or less, I make a move. So that could be anything that seems appropriate, right? Like given the circumstances. And I could say, which I'm going to do in this instance, I'm going to say, oh, it'll just be an incident and we'll see what it is. Like it doesn't have to be a big, mean move. And for incidents, you roll a d12 on this table here, and they're more sort of open interpretation instead of more specific. The previous incident tables were quite specific, and it was really hard to like make them work in context.
Right.
So you're on a road, and you're in a safe area. So you're going to roll a d12.
9.
Okay, and you can see here it says obstacle. Any impediment to forward progress that must be overcome or circumnavigated. Something that bars the way, difficult terrain, seasonal occurrence. Yeah, okay, so this is a road you've been on before, right? So obstacles have not been a problem. But what's happened is the cliffside has washed out. So the road itself, in the time that the days that you've been missing, the road itself has been partly washed away. So you're going to have to cut up inland a little bit to get to safer ground, because it looks like that the seaside cliff there is a little precarious.
Mm-hmm.
So that means you're just going to make one additional set-out move to reach Sakagar, to reach Saltwall.
Oh, so just do the roll again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just adds more time to your...
Same roll. That's also still 6. Sorry, team.
Wow.
All right, so roll the d12.
Yep.
4.
Okay, it's a creature.
Oh, let's go.
And it's 11:30, so we're going to call it there. Let's go.
Creature.
So who knows what that? But actually, what I will have you do is each of you roll a d12, and that'll get me started on figuring out the speed.
Okay.
So, and from top down, Jan, what'd you get?
8.
Okay. John, what'd you get?
6.
Okay. Donna.
Sorry, I never have the right dice out. Someone else can roll.
Okay.
Sorry.
John, roll a d12 again.
All right. I got a 6.
Okay, great. That gives me a start for figuring out what that critter is. All right, so we'll figure what that is next time.
How exciting!
So we were forced inland by an obstacle. What was the obstacle?
The sea cliff had washed out. The road there is not like it's like a more sort of a path, and the cliff has multiple kind of tiers to it. So the tier that the road was on, the ground eroded away and washed into the down the cliff. So you had to like make your way to a higher tier of the cliffs there. Okay, and we're wrapping up.
Hopefully it wasn't Soxiamus.
Oh. Yes.
Soxiamus and Soxiamus'
Amazing.
partner?
Well, just different angles.
Nice.
That's amazing.
Okay. Oh. Wrapping up. Alignment goals. Anybody?
Disrupt an established order.
Oh. Yeah, I think there was a very orderly attempt to bring a prisoner to a prison, and that was disrupted. So, chaos people, you get an experience point for that.
Team Chaos.
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 And Donna, you're lawful, right?
Yeah, so I mean, I didn't help very much with making sure that guard stays alive, but I was happy that she was not slain.
Right. You didn't actually try to convince anybody to maintain.
Right. Other than just like encourage Taimi to
Not.
just distract. Yeah. Just be
Yeah.
like, yeah.
But I think you maintained order when you grabbed the prisoners and reassured them and pulled them into that other hiding place.
Right. For
I think that
safety.
maintained that sort of that they were getting anxious and scared, and you actually kind of kept them calm. So take an XP for that.
Awesome.
Traits.
I feel like I was irritable at the word keeper, but I was also a cheater because I didn't share my glass beads.
Irritable. I love the idea. I'm so irritable. I could kill you right now. Like, you being irritable.
I know, irritable seems like a so dull of a word to describe my anger.
No,
Oh,
but you're
so miffed.
yeah. Paiviki was definitely bold,
Yeah.
shouting at people about being a word keeper. I feel like of the three, focused, respectful, and ruthless. I mean, you were definitely respectful. I mean, the way that you interacted with both the prisoners and with Kalian, I feel like Marion was respectful. For sure.
Yeah.
Fighters, mark XP if you solve the problem with physical prowess. Taimi, definitely.
For sure.
Did Paiviki solve a problem with physical?
I knocked out a word keeper with my
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Great.
Yeah, that was
good.
awesome.
Woohoo! Stealth or trickery? Wherein there's no.
Was it stealthy the way we ran through? We rode.
You both kind of crept up quietly, but it didn't solve a. Well, I guess intercepting them would solve a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Go ahead.
Rather than like approaching right away,
Yep.
I suppose.
Yep. Sneaking up. All right, great. And then, did you make an exciting discovery? Last time. Yeah, go ahead.
We saw Sakagara up close.
I think the exciting discovery was learning about the haunted head and the giant.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
Sure, yeah, okay.
We saw
Yeah.
Sakagara last session, so it wasn't,
Well, we already saw a giant before, so it's like,
Fair. Fair.
You've seen more of the wider world. Did you overcome a difficult obstacle? Yes. You retrieved 2 prisoners from an armed guard. Did you acquire some memorable booty? I think a lump of tar soap is memorable.
I
Really?
don't want to call. I mean, we got the prisoners back. I don't know if we can call that booty, but
Right. Well, for purposes of this game, booty is lucre. It's loot, for sure.
it's not.
That's part of it. Yeah.
If we obtained like an animal, you wouldn't count that?
We could have a discussion about it. It's all open to discussion. Yeah.
so are we getting XP for soap?
I'm gonna say, let's say no. Let's say no. You guys
But the
gotta,
glass. I mean, the glass beads. I don't know if that would count because I wasn't sharing that.
I guess it doesn't really. So the point of the XP is like it's to encourage you to look for treasure, right?
Yeah.
And you did look for treasure. You're like, I'm taking this coin first. But I guess they were sort of mundane items, and they,
Yeah. Yep, that must be coins.
Right. Okay, great. That's a wrap.
So that's a no on the soap. Okay.
Oh, that's it. Erase that XP.
A lot of XP for one session, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, how far are you away from
I'm
4?
halfway to 4.
All right.
Yes. Same. Ditto.
Yep.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah, we gotta start racking in the coin though.
There hasn't been a whole lot of. Well, I mean, there is loot that you took from the camp. You want to figure out what to do with the Venati, right?
Yeah, we gotta figure out. I mean, I think we're gonna have to start like tapping into larger communities in order to sell loot. I think it's one thing to have it,
Right. No.
unless we can stash things of equal value to 100 silver points.
That totally counts. You just don't know how much it's worth until you stash it.
Got it.
So you can say, I'm going to stash this, and then I say, okay, this is how much it was worth. And then you don't get that thing anymore, but you get the XP for whatever it is.
That's so interesting. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
it goes away.
Yeah, you can't. Well, I think there is a rule, if I recall, where you can actually get it out of stash, but you get half back.
We should just take whatever we can carry comfortably and stash the rest in Salt Wall, and then maybe get a little XP for it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great way to do it. Anybody
Groovy.
want to say before we wrap up? Before we-
No. Next Thursday.
I think so. Is that on everybody's calendar?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
I have it.
Great.
Cool.
We'll plan on
Exciting.
Yeah, that's fine.
it. Yes, you
It
did
was-
it.
I was. Go ahead,
It was
Jason.
pretty bad for a little while there. I was like, this is gonna
Oh, I mean,
not
yeah,
work
Jason.
out.
Jason, you were like putting us on the shot clock, and like every single time you were like, "Oh, they're out of view now." I was like, "God
That
damn
was
it!"
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
find
think
that
we-
you have to do that at a certain point, or else it's so because of course there's so many options. Like there's so many
Yeah.
choices.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
There comes a point where you have to kind of like, okay, things are happening, guys. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that was good, but yeah, I think it was, by finally acting, and it was, yeah. I ultimately, I think we had just as good of a plan as we would have come up with if we sat there and walked it through. Like we had everything. We had subterfuge, we had strength and dexterity, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
You pulled it off.
Good times.
Good show. All right. I'm going to stop the recording.